Hey, everybody. I want you to meet Suzanne Kohlberg, who is the Nope coach and is fascinating on so many levels and is also the moderator of the Boom Boom Room, the OG Boom Boom Room moderator, and also my supervisor occasionally for co-working sessions where she offers me time and we get together and she's like, "What are you working on?" And then I say what I'm going to work on and I get it done because I'm being supervised. So Suzanne, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of Lucky 13 and thank you for being actually a founding member of the Boom Boom Room because you were in the mastermind when I opened the doors of the Boom Boom Room. I bonused all the masterminders in. So you have
Yes, I loved how you said you grandmothered us in because I'd never heard that before. I loved because everyone's like grandfathering. I'm like, no, grandmothered in. Yes.
Absolutely. I learned so much from you in so many ways. And I love that you're like, I like that boundaries make bank. And one of my favorite things about you is your willingness to say no. And is there anything that you would like the world to know about you, Suzanne?
I was going to say whatever I talk about is going to be good.
Yeah,
Any other show, I wouldn't have said that because I was like, oh
yeah.
my gosh, that is so on yourself. But in your space, it's like
Yes,
whatever we talk about is going to be good.
it is going to be good. It's guaranteed. What has been your favorite moment as Boom Boom Room moderator so far?
I was gonna say, there's so many. I just love your openness to like, let's just go with this. Like, yes, there is structure in the Boom Boom Room, and this is the things that we do. Because I think, without any form of structure, like you were just having a sip. If we don't have water contained, it's just gonna be all over the floor. So there's things that, this comes out every week. Here's this, but then within that, it's like, let's go try this. Like now you're doing Lucky 13. Like it's
Mhm.
kind of like the experimentation I love. Let's just go with this. We have an idea. And if it goes great, wonderful. And if it doesn't, there's never that fear of failing or fear of doing it wrong. And that's what I love so much about the space.
Thank you. That makes me so happy because something that's interesting to me is I notice a lot of my truly favorite mentors, but a lot of them are really good at presenting, like I planned this out or I've done this. And then when I like get to know the back end, like they didn't really, like they did 4 minutes ago. And I'm like, oh, but to be professional, still the cultural norm is to present as if there's been so much preparation. And I'm like, listen, there's so much more experimentation in entrepreneurship, and I really want to like normalize that for everyone. Like, we're not here to be a mess, but like, I think the reason so many of us don't do so much more, myself included, is the idea that like it has to be just so.
And also, too, say you do something and it kicks it out of the park, it goes much more than you ever expected. There can be well, I've done it this way, an expectation it will happen like that again.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't, like being all down on yourself. But sometimes I think the newness or the excitement or whatever is what's attracting to something rather
Yeah.
than, oh, here's this thing again. But also, too, depending on how like you train your audience or whatever, if people are like, well, she'll do it again next month or she does it every 6 months or whatever, there's no impetus to like, let's join this now. Whereas I know when you run something, Serena, it's like, either it might not happen again because you say this is going to be once off, or you just don't know. And I think we've lost some of that in life. We're kind of like, we will wait, and then we're forever waiting and not actually actioning anything.
Do you know I owned a dance studio for a year? It's the pole dance studio that had no mirrors on the wall and was all about the experience, not like performing for someone. And it was so fascinating to me when I closed it, how many people were like, "Oh my God, I was always gonna hire you," and it was so. I felt hurt, just so we're clear, and it's all years behind me. But I was like, small business is not a Walmart, and that was a different thing. But I just remember thinking like, oh, you just thought it was always going to be available. And I was the one driving Uber and Lyft to make ends meet so I could pay rent, usually late. And it was so fascinating because there were people who were really like, oh my God, I'm so bummed. And I was like, I think I knew it, but that really affirmed for me. If you like something or want something, you should move because all sorts of things happen. Like people decide not to offer it again, people die, there are changes in circumstances. Like who even knows? But like if you want something, go.
Yeah, I don't know what our propensity to wait is, like society or conditioning, or sometimes, people get affronted or like, oh, you didn't tell me like 15 times. It's like, we all get to decide how we run our business. I announce something. Sometimes I'll send a follow-up email. Sometimes I won't. And it's like, I'm not your secretary and whatever service. It's like, you're in, you go, or you're not, you don't. I'm not sending however many emails about this. This is not how I roll.
Okay, so I'm like vibing up and I'm like, right, but this is because you're the Nope coach. And this is, I feel like there are, I mean, in anything there's seasons. Like anywhere you live, anything there's seasons. And I feel like there was I feel like we are outside of the season of over caretaking coaches where everybody was like super pussyfooting and it was always about like just over caretaking. And at this exact moment, I'm like, hey, being a coach or a consultant is entrepreneurship, as in like it's the Wild West. Like you are entitled to nothing. You are not entitled because you got a certification or you tried $1 million business, and you can expect failure. You can expect discouragement. You can expect someone somewhere pointing fingers at you and saying that you're awful. Like, and so I love because I feel like your community, and I should tell everyone listening, I have participated in a program that Suzanne has done. Like I met Suzanne as a client and then I enrolled and loved it. And it's like, yes, like you expect your clients to show up as adults. And that is
And I
something.
expect them to read the thing that they've paid for, and I expect them to know when the call is and where the link is. And like I don't handhold at all. And it never ceases to fascinate me that people who hire me for boundaries work, which is majority of what I do now, often don't they're often their own worst enemy. Like you do the thing that you annoys you everywhere else, and it's like, what time is the call, or where is the link, or whatever. And obviously I'm not perfect. There are times I get the wrong link or I make a mistake or whatever, but if you've made no effort to go and look at the thing, and then you're wanting me to handhold you to it's at this time, and it's or convert it like you're in Central Time, so in Central Time in Texas it's actually the day before. No, I send all my stuff Sydney, Australia time. Sometimes I might go in brackets, which you guys call parentheses. If you're in the US, like it might be a different day, same as if you're in the UK. But like when you run a global business, it's up to the people who are participating to do the time zone conversion things on their end. Like I think sometimes I used to say it's this time but even in the US, there's PT, CT, and ET. Like
And Mountain Time.
no,
Mountain Time has ruined me more times than I wanted, which is one of the reasons I now so more often than not just put it in Central Time and then I put in parentheses Dallas, Texas for wherever because when I Google things, so I'm like, just this
yes.
is what time it's going to be in Dallas. Sort yourself.
Yeah, so I write AEST or AEDT, depending and then in parentheses or brackets, Sydney, Australia, because, sometimes people miss the A and then think it's US time. So it's kind of like, yeah, we're in for a whole different situation if that's the case.
Mm-hmm. It's a whole thing. Okay, can we tell everyone about your podcast that you did or are still doing every single day?
I did it every day for a year. So it's the Nope Coach podcast. So I did it for 365 days straight. And then I went to whenever I felt like it.
Yep.
Then I went to 3 times a week. And now it's roughly once a week. So I'm not married to time like I used to be. And I think, with anything that you do, what's in it for you? So for me, I started it, I think my first goal was 100 days. And then I got to 100 and I was like, 365. Word to the wise, I would have been better off if I was doing this again to make it like 200. Like that next stretch was too big of a stretch.
Okay.
But I think we forget in business that business is our biggest personal development journey. And sometimes when you're making it about everybody else and you get lost in the mix, if nothing else, that podcast, at least for the first year, was purely for me.
Which is so not just exciting, but like such a gift.
And then now it's weekly, it's mostly interview based, like the other ones, it was half and half.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a solo podcast called The Shit Show,
Mm-hmm.
which is through Patreon. So that's paid. So
Mm-hmm.
like free is my interviews, and paid is my solo ramblings or musings.
Okay, talk to me, especially as the Nope coach. Tell people, because I know a little bit about this story, but like, number one, you decided like, nope, not doing med school. What was that like?
Oh, at the time, horrifying. It was the first time I've really like defied my parents and everyone and left to make a decision on your own, because there's never in any stage of your life any doubt of people giving you advice, sometimes well-meaning, sometimes with their own agenda behind it. But I was just like, this isn't the career I wanted. And I was very close. I left him like I had less than a year or just over a year to go. I left in 5th year of a 6-year degree. And people were like, but you were so close. I was like, close to what though? When you graduate from medical school, you're a doctor of nothing. You need to do an intern year. You need to do residency. You need to do registrar. Like you're looking at least 10 more years until you're a consultant. And when you know. Why are we sticking to things just to get a piece of paper or a tick in a box?
Because cultural norms, and that's what I just love the way you said, like, close to what? Like to pushing myself another 4 or 5 or however many years and how many hundreds of thousands of dollars to please who? That's why I think being the nope coach and boundaries are so valuable. How do you describe like boundaries as far as like a way to love yourself or a way to like protect
Uh,
yourself?
there's a quote, it's Prentice Hemphill. I don't know if I say their name right, so one day I will. But basically, they're like, the boundaries is the distance in which I can love you and me simultaneously. And I don't think anyone ever has defined that better because people sometimes hear the word boundary and shudder, like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to control you. No, no, that's not a boundary. That's a barricade. I don't even know what that is.
That's
But a
manipulation.
boundary, yes, a boundary is kind of like, this is what I expect, a level of expectation, and this is how I will act. And it's not telling you how to be. So, like, Serena, I might be like, if you yell at me, I will end this call. I'm not telling you you can't yell. You can do whatever it is that you want to do, but I won't be yelled at. So it's kind of like it's setting that standard and that expectation. And we in so many areas don't even question boundaries. Like if we go to someone's house, most people go shoes on or shoes off. That is a boundary. So it's like, but we don't tend to have this way people can communicate or interact with us. Like, even in your business, some businesses are the more hand holding. I will, if you don't come to a call, I'll follow up with you. I will give you the link. I will give you the shirt off my back. Like I used to be there and I felt burnt out and exhausted. But
Mhm.
like in terms of business, this is the expectations of where we'll meet. And then if you have issues, this is how you contact me. Like for me, I don't do DMs. I think unsolicited DMs are the dick pics of the social media world. Don't answer them, don't respond to them, whatever. Like I'm an email girl all the way. But I communicate that. And I think sometimes we expect people just to be mind readers, or we people please them all through the onboarding. And then when they start working to us, then we put the boundaries in and then we're like, our clients are the worst. And it's like, well, actually, if you didn't communicate any of this on the front end, you didn't give them agency or choice. You kind of manipulated them into working with you.
I mean, mic drop. And I love the way you also like one of my obsessions is like when we talk about consults and the idea of like start as you mean to continue. Like be who you are in the coach, speak the way you would. And so often, especially like new coaches, I'm not sure how common this is in the consultation space, but like they're like, well, I didn't say the thing because I wanted to be nice. And I'm like, yeah, which is why you didn't get hired because we hire a coach when we're ready to be in a loving space, but like held accountable. When we're in a space where we don't just want someone to be nice, like you go to brunch with your girlfriends if you just want someone to be nice. It's such an interesting and it's like, oh yeah, boundaries make bank. For me, one of the reasons I love, especially you as a nope coach and a boundaries person, and just for everyone listening, it's like every level new devil, every level. I remember especially when my business was younger, having issues with vendors and not holding good boundaries on my end because I was over people pleasing and my brand at the time I always talked about big happy money, so I wanted to always make sure I was, over caretaking is what I was actually doing. But like I just, really wanted to make sure everyone felt fully seen and supported and had lots of chances to do everything. And in hindsight, I'm like, that was just poor boundaries, which dishonored me and it dishonored them.
I think the biggest thing for me, and I'm realizing I've got 40 seconds, so I'll see how I go.
We got
It's
it.
sometimes your part in their journey, the client, the customer, the person is going to be the villain. It's not saying that you are a villain, but in your point of view, that from their point of view, you're going to be the villain. But maybe that's your part for them to learn that lesson. Like the first time somebody paid me and never turned up, and I actually didn't offer them a refund or give them another round or over caretake, I was just like, well, maybe that's what they needed to learn that, because if I go to the supermarket and buy a loaf of bread and don't eat it and goes moldy, I don't take that back and ask for a refund or expect a new loaf. And coaching can be like that too. Sometimes you're going to seem villainous, but if you've communicated it clearly, it's on them.
That's amazing. I love your like, if you've communicated it clearly, it's on them. It's at the end of the day, trusting, love for you and your business and your time, and trusting, love, trust, money.
Love
Suzanne,
it.
you guys, it feels too short, right? So make sure you go connect with Suzanne. We're going to link up all the socials. Please be connected with Suzanne. Thank you so much for being in the Lucky 13.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun.